I want to take the time to make this video for you guys to discuss my tips on attaining your spiritual awakening, or speeding up and intensifying your spiritual awakening. Now, these are in no particular order of importance, but I do think that they will aid you in different ways depending on where you are, depending on your body, on your structure, on your requirements. And that being said, I want to give you the first point, the first tip for aiding your body in clearing and cleaning the channel so that you can attain your spiritual awakening. My first tip, and this is a very important one, is that you need to stop drinking tap water. You need to stop drinking fluoridated and chlorinated water, and instead what you need to do is you need to invest and buy yourself the best form of water purification, which is a water distiller. This is Mother Nature's way of purifying water. You have evaporation, condensation, and then precipitation. A water distiller is the cheapest way of you being able to purify your water supply wherever you are. You could literally urinate in it, you could get sewage water and put it in your water distiller, and because of evaporation and condensation, all that you get left behind is the rubbish. So you'll be amazed when you take municipal tap water, which supposedly is meant to be really healthy and good for you, and you purify it, you distill it, and you see what's left behind. It's shocking. And you think about your body is having to process that and purify that to get rid of it, and there's no wonder we're getting kidney stones and health problems, hormonal problems, because we're being pumped with, although they're microdoses of chemicals, like any microdose, if you're doing acid or magic mushrooms, those microdoses have quite profound effects. A microdose of acid or mushrooms can radically change your mind and can cure post-traumatic stress or traumas. That's what they're finding. So you have to ask yourself, when we're all being microdosed with fluoride and chlorine in the water, although I understand the governmental incentives to do it, because you've got to have a pure and a clean water supply for your population, otherwise they're going to die. But we live in the 21st century, and there are other ways that we can deliver clean, pure water to our bodies than in old systems. Like in London, all the pipes are super old, so you've got to think about it. Your water's travelling for kilometres through old pipes before it gets to you, and it's got all of the rubbish that's collected along the way, and then you're drinking that. So, like I say, a water distiller is a really cheap way of purifying your municipal tap water. And what you'll find is that when you start drinking clean water, I feel like all of the strange fogginess or disruptions that we are sort of unconsciously aware of, they suddenly disappear, and then everything becomes a little bit easier, a little bit more like there's less interference, and you're able to process information and data, the data of the world, better. My second point, that is going to be very controversial and it's going to piss off a lot of people, but it's really important. It's that you need to get in the sun, and you need to get sun exposure on your skin. Now, I'm not telling you to get out in the sun and to burn yourself, but what I'm saying is that wherever you are in the world, you should try and get out in the sun and get as much sun on your skin as your skin will allow before it burns. And you want to build up that exposure slowly, because we're designed to be outside. Our body is designed to, like plants, get sun exposure. Our hemoglobin is very similar in structure to chlorophyll. And I'm not saying that we are literally plants producing oxygen, but what I'm saying is that we, like plants, have evolved in an environment where we have had sun. We've lived outside our whole lives, and we get energy from the sun We generate energy from the sun, we generate hormones from the sun, and like I always say, guys, you have to ask yourself, when the slave master system is telling you not to do things, you've got to ask yourself why that is. It's because all these things are there designed to disrupt you from your true essence, so that you become a better consumer, so that you become weaker, so that you're then having to pay into their health system. We have evolved to be in harmony with nature, and when we get out of harmony with nature, then we see illness and we see the consequences of that. So the best thing that we can do is just get back to our natural ways of existing and living, which is our ancestors' ways of living and existing. So, you know, if you can, try and get fully naked in the sun. You know, I'm not sort of condoning that you do that out in public, but if you're in private and you can do that, get as much full body exposure in the sun as possible. You'll find, like plants are happy when they're getting the adequate amount of sun. Some plants don't need a lot of sun. You know, some of us are quite pale, and some of us are darker, and we need more sun. But like I say, it's important to get enough sun that your skin will allow. So like I say, you don't want to burn yourself, but you want to get enough that your body can generate the energy that it needs to move through the world. And that's why, guys, in the winter we all feel really depressed, and then when the sun comes out and we're in the sun and we get a little bit of sun on our skin, we all feel a little bit happier. So think about that. When the slave master system is telling you to stay inside and telling you to put sun cream on yourself and to cover up, sun creams, generally speaking, are all hormone disrupting chemicals, or have endocrine disrupting chemicals within them, and are so damaging that they're killing and damaging sections of coral reef around the world. So you've got to ask yourself, if we're putting that on our skin, what is it doing to our bodies? Right, so equally very important is getting sun in your eyes. I'm not telling you to look into the sun, but I'm saying at sunrise and sunset, try and gaze at the horizon so that you're getting a good direct sunlight into your retina. Because what that will do is it will help your brain understand, okay, it's the end of the day, or okay, it's the beginning of the day. We've got to see ourselves more and more like these organisms that have evolved in harmony with nature. You know, we're like cogs fitting into the machine of nature, into the cycles and the waves of nature, and we're very much out of harmony within nature. We've got stuck within this other cycle, which is like clearly disharmonious. So that's why I keep sort of banging on about, like, it's really important to get back to nature if you can, as much as possible. You know, even just walking down the street and touching a tree and grounding yourself, or even better, walking around barefoot. But people are going to look at you funny in cities, that's for sure. But putting your hand on a tree and touching a tree and grounding yourself for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, a minute is really, 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 really powerful, really beneficial. You'll find that your body will relax. You'll find that your body will ease up. Alright, so my third point is sort of tied to the first point in relation to fluoride and chlorine, which is that you need to start avoiding products. And I'm not talking about products that you put on your skin and your body, but I'm talking about products that you put in your body, products that you put around your body, like in the air, cleaning products. Basically anything that your body is going to come into contact with, you need to start avoiding products that have chemicals that are going to hurt and damage your body. Now, what do I mean by that? So if, for example, you're using shampoo that has sodium lauryl sulfate or parabens in, or a whole raft of other chemicals that are damaging to the body. If you're using shampoos, body washes with those sorts of chemicals in, then you need to shift your decision making to products that are more natural based. And you can go as simple as getting things like, or making things like milk soap or soap from olive oil. There are lots of natural ways of creating modern versions, even down to deodorant, right? I grew up a fanatic of Lynx, the deodorant, or what they call Axe. I think in the rest of the world, in the UK it was Lynx, in the rest of the world it's Axe. And man, I used to spray that stuff all over me as a kid, but that is full of garbage that's going to hurt you. And now I use just like a salt block, a rock salt block, which you just put a bit of water on and you put it under your armpits or wherever you want to put it, and it kills all the bacteria. So you still have your natural odour, your natural smell, but you don't have the bacterial stinky smell. So what you'll find is there's always, generally speaking, natural and more cheaper options. It's not always the case depending on where you are. So for example, this raw milk right here in California is ridiculously expensive. However, in the UK, raw goat's milk is going to be cheaper. Or if you've got your own goat, then you don't have to pay for it. So there's levels to where the cost for things are going to be, but generally speaking, for example, body cream, instead of getting yourself E45 or some product that's just full of petroleum-based, cancer-creating, hormone-disrupting chemicals, get yourself some coconut oil, get yourself some shea butter. There are so many natural options for the slave masters' alternatives. Slave masters' alternatives are always based on a natural version, but all they've done is corrupt it. So it's like with tobacco, or with marijuana, or with your steak, or with your milk. You always want to, if you can, cultivate it yourself and know that it's been grown in soil that is sacred. It's soil that you have looked after and you've loved and attended to. But that's not always the case. Some of us live in cities, or some of us don't have access to soil to grow in. If that's the case, then you need to try and find the least polluted version of what it is that you're engaging within. Because I can't emphasize it enough, guys, the slave master's system is so intensely strong, and it's so intensely designed to keep you sedated and a consumer and basically a battery within their system, an energy, a power supply within their system, that all of the things are there just to keep you this big, but you're this big and more. So with that all being said, start shifting and understanding that in every moment, okay, what am I wearing? Am I wearing synthetic materials? I used to wear lots of synthetic materials. Like, guys, I'm just going to say, I used to be where you are. I used to be drinking all of the poisons and eating all the poisons, wearing all the poisons, doing all the poisons. I was where you are. But something changed, I feel, after COVID. I feel like when COVID happened, I just saw how intensely the system was trying to manipulate humanity. And I was shocked at the manipulation. And I started questioning everything else. And when I look back at my life, I realised I've always questioned stuff. At school I always questioned things, but I never thought the manipulation was this intense. But clearly it is this intense. So with that all being said, I feel like it's really important to recognise firstly how sacred you are, how special you are. Because they're trying really hard to keep you suppressed. And when they're trying that hard to keep you suppressed, you've got to question and ask yourself, why are they trying that hard? Like, we must be really, really special. And I'm telling you, we are all really, really special. And when we start disengaging from the system's grip and the system's control, and we start recognizing and realizing that we're so much more, and we stop putting the poisons within us and on us, then what happens is that you start to see the world differently, literally start to see the world differently. You start to no longer almost follow the fear direction of where we're being manipulated. You start to see things as almost like a bigger picture, if that makes sense. So, not putting things in, on, around your skin that are damaging is really important. Clothes, make sure you're wearing natural fibers, and if you can, be buying organic fibers or fibers that are, they're from a natural source. Like, I know there's going to be a lot of vegans that are going to be against this, but I think that wool is, firstly, you're mad to think that using plastic or wearing plastic is a better option. This is a natural material that is a byproduct that can be recycled and will decompose or break down as and when it needs to. Some moths will come and eat this and it will go back. Hemp is another great option, but that's all being suppressed down, pushed down. You've got to ask yourself why that all is. So what we put on our body, around our body, in our body, and then also like in our mind as well is super important. But that's, I think, another level. We're talking maybe some more simple steps here. So the next step, I would say, that is going to aid you in your spiritual awakening is in relation to your diet. I kind of want to talk about a concept rather than pushing a diet. I want to talk about this concept, which is that the slave master systems, like I'm saying with everything else, has a lot of poison involved. And when we engage with their food systems that are riddled with poison, then we become sick and we become the less beautiful versions of ourselves, the less expressive versions of ourselves. So what I mean by that is the food systems that we are engaging with have things like pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, genetically modified organisms, and many other chemicals that are there that will damage you and hurt you. So understanding all of that, the best thing that you can do is get the cleanest food that you can get your hands on. Get the cleanest source of fuel that you can put within your body. When you're engaging with the supermarkets and you're going within the system, shall we say, in the more sort of surface level ways of accessing food, I feel like we all pay the price for this. If you go to work and you just want to get a sandwich because you haven't made your packed lunch, then you're going to pay the price for this. So when we start making more mature decisions like, okay, I'm going to prepare some food today for my lunch, I'm going to make a packed lunch that I know is fully organic, non-GMO, no bullshit that's going to damage my body, and I can take that to work in my glass Tupperware with my bamboo cutlery set, and I can consume that, fuel my body, and go home and not have engaged with the slave master's poisons, then I'm going to be a better version of myself, rather than the worst version being I'm going to get a takeaway from a fast food joint, or I'm just going to buy some food that has poison in it and I'm going to eat it and damage myself. Honestly, the ultimate ideal version, chapettes, is that you have your own land, you have your own goat, your own chickens, your own fruits, your own vegetables. You're growing your own tobacco, you're growing your own weed, you're growing your own herbs, your own medicine, and you've got your own ecosystem that you can confirm the provenance of the products that you put within your body. And that is the ideal, right? And for some of us, that is very, very hard to achieve an escape from this system that is designed to keep us sucked in as workers. But all I can say is that I think we can all strive towards escaping and rebelling and creating our own escape plans. And we must be inspired by our ancestors who, whether in World War II, were breaking out of prisoner of war camps, or in, the medieval ages, people breaking and escaping from the clutches of tyranny, whatever the expressions of rebellion are. I feel like we all need to start rebelling and escaping out of this system. And I really believe that the only way that we can evolve and transcend the satanic death cult, the capitalistic consumerist culture that we exist within, is by cannibalizing it, by extracting resource from it and creating something new out of it. And the way we do that is by creating our own systems, our own structures, our own farms, our own forms of food supply, our own forms of water supply, that we're not engaging within this system, within the system that is just designed to extract from us. It's designed to take our energy and our resource. So we must rebel and escape from it. I think once you awaken, once you take these steps and you start to disengage from the system's poisons, the system's tools in its most intense ways, you'll start to see the world differently, and you'll start to disengage from it, and you'll start to have your spiritual awakening. I promise you. Because what I'm giving to you is, should we say, the spoon, the medicine for you to consume. But really all I'm doing is I'm pushing away the slave master's medicine that they're trying to put into your mouth. I'm pushing that away from you. I'm saying, here, take this. This is nature's gift. This is nature's way of existing. Go to the most natural way of existing. Go to the most natural source. Don't eat processed foods. Eat the most natural foods and feel into your body. Feel into what your body says. I can't tell you truly what to eat. I can tell you what I eat, and I can recommend what's working for me. However, you have to feel into your body, because you will know, truly you will know. So, for example, I highly recommend drinking raw milk. This is something that I never thought that I would be recommending. I thought that I was dairy intolerant for a big part of my life, but it turns out that I'm just allergic to processed, pasteurized, homogenized milk, which is what's being given to us in the supermarkets, and that milk is making us sick. It's giving us cancer. I think we have to understand that why are we suddenly getting sick? Why are we suddenly getting higher rates of cancer? Why are we suddenly getting higher rates of heart disease? All I can suggest to you is that you discern for yourself and you start questioning for yourself, is this benefiting me or is this not benefiting me? You are far more powerful than you realize. You are being sedated far more than you realize. And when you peel away the film that has been placed over your eyes, and you realize that eating like our ancestors, eating seasonally, so in the winters eating, there wouldn't be any fruit and vegetables on the trees, so you'd be eating meat, you'd be eating animal products. Come the spring, the summer, the berries are coming out, the fruit's coming on the trees, the vegetables are coming out and they're getting riper and riper. We as animals, we wouldn't say, oh, I'm going to go hunt and exhaust myself when I can just go and pick an apple from the tree. We would say, there are apples, there are strawberries, there is vegetables to be eaten. I'm just going to eat that, I'm going to gorge on that until they disappear. And then the autumn comes, the winter comes, and we begin again back into the the more challenging times of the year and hunting for animals, or drinking some milk. So, chapettes, I don't really want to sort of force some idea as to this is how you should live your life. All I want to do is kind of give you some pointers, some tips as to what will aid your structure, aid your body in being a clearer and cleaner channel, so that you can have your spiritual awakening, so that you can access the potential within you. And like I always say, guys, when the slave master system is telling you not to do things, you really have to ask yourself why. And I feel like I always say, is that shadow is serving us, and in the way that we are the light illuminating the path for shadow so that it can return back to source and so that it can know what it is, in a way shadow is illuminating our path for us so that we can know what we are, so that we can know that we are pure love. And in the superficial reality of this world, shadow, the satanic death cult, whether conscious or unconscious, is literally pointing out to us saying, this is. It's saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So when you start looking at reality as, okay, maybe the things that the capitalistic consumerist system that is controlling everything, the elite that is controlling everything, it's controlling the politicians, it's controlling all of the systems. Maybe if I start realizing that they are trying to manipulate the information, that actually if I start challenging it and start doing the opposite of it, I'll find almost the way, shall we say. You know, guys, it's funny, I think back to when I was at school. I was always in detention. I was always Saturday morning, what was it? I can't even remember what time we would have to get up for detention. But I was always there, always in detention. I had a little red book at my school that I would have to go and give to my teachers at the end of the class for them to sign and say that I'd been good and that, you know, I hadn't misbehaved. That was me. I was always questioning. I was always saying, why? Why is that? Why are we doing that? And I think I look back to my time at school and I think to myself, you know what, I'm so proud of myself to have not been a little follower and a sheep, that actually I questioned the system. So I encourage, if you're a young individual, a young person watching this, and you question the system, good for you. Good for you. Question the system. Question everything in life and ask yourself, how does this fit in with me? How does this work for me? Does this benefit me? Or is this something designed to damage me and keep me sedated and keep me weak? Because I think when you start questioning the authority, like I did question all the teachers above me, who fundamentally, it was all bullshit, you know. A lot of the stuff that they were saying was bollocks. Or the authority that was being perpetuated was bollocks. When you start questioning the authority above you and start questioning the elite who are basically saying, don't do this, don't do that, what you'll find is that the things they're telling you not to do are the things you should be exactly doing. Those are the things you should be doing. So when they're saying to you, don't take the plant medicines, you should be taking the plant medicines, because the plant medicines is the exact way to connect back to the ancestors. Okay? That's why they went around the UK and they killed all the witches. It's because the witches were the shamans, the witches were the plant medicine people. The system, the satanic death cult, will tell you that those things are the devil. Those things are connected to Satan. Let me tell you right now, all is the Creator experiencing itself. God, the Most High, the One, the Great I, the One, the God. And Satan, the opposite of love, shall we say, fear, is a creation. It's, shall we say, a reflection to show us what we are. So the slave master who is vibrating in that very low vibrational satanic energy, is going to, shall we say, put up things and say, this is bad, this is bad, this is demonic, this is satanic. But fundamentally, you getting to your most natural ways is the only way you're going to connect to God. Okay? That's how our ancestors connected to God. Our ancestors connected to God through nature. God is nature. God is everything. God is all around us. And what the slave master system is trying to do is trying to disconnect you from what is around you. And what they're going to do is then put a chip in your brain and say, hey, if you want to connect to your happiness and your reality, take the Elon Musk chip, put it in your brain, and then they'll have this AI generated reality, which when you look at AI generation now, it can literally create like movies through very simple sentences. So when you think about how AI is going to be able to generate a reality like a reality in the film The Matrix, the satanic system is just there trying to disconnect you as much from this, from God, from yourself, from that connection. And the ancestors used to connect through God to God through nature. Okay, we've become disconnected from that. We think that we've got to go to the church and to pray to the guy and the priest and the whatever. And look, I think it's beautiful that people go to church. I was raised going to church and I enjoyed many aspects of it, but I think that religions and churches have been co-opted by these power structures, these elite systems to keep us sedated, to say that it's outside of you, but it's not. It's everywhere. It's within you. It's within the person next to you. It's within the tree. It's within the bloody ants in the soil, the bacteria in the soil. It's all around us. This is all God experiencing itself. We are all God experiencing itself. So look, you have the tips, you have the understanding. The slave master doesn't want you to put those together. It wants you to be sedated. So disengage from the system. Do all the things they're telling you not to do. Find the cleanest sources of the things that you want to consume and partake within. And recognize that your temple, your body, your structure is so sacred, it's so important, it's so special, it's so unique, and you need to look after it. That's all your parents would want, that's all your ancestors would want, and you've got all of them within you, and they're all cheering you on. We're all cheering us all on. We're all cheering you on. I'm cheering myself on. I'm cheering Steve on. I'm cheering the trees on, the birds, because we're all spiraling upwards, and the system is crumbling. This extraction of resource from everything is crumbling. It's fear-based. We are so much more than this fear concept. We are the universe experiencing itself. We are God experiencing itself. We are all one. And we have been asleep for a very long time, but we are waking up. We are waking up to this concept that we are all one. And some of us are asleep to this, but we are waking up. And it is our job, as we wake up, to remind one another that we are all one. It's here. It's here. It's all here. It's just about seeing it. So with that being said, what a gift it is to be here on planet Earth as humanity wakes up. What an opportunity as a soul to experience all of this. I encourage you to get out in the world, rebel in all of the ways that you wish to, whether it's, you want to play your flute, or you want to hit your singing bowls, speak your poems, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to express your love and your rebellion against the system, however you want to throw your metaphorical Molotov cocktail at the system, do it. Get out there. The world needs us all to get up and to rebel and to burn the system metaphorically with our love, with kindness, with the smiles, with the acts of expression, with the acts of creation. Create. That's all I can say is we must all create. We are all creators. And what we choose to create into the world is what will be reflected back to us and back to the world. So get out there. Recognize that you are the creator experiencing itself, and you have been disconnected from that idea. You have been made to believe that you are victim, but you are not. You are experiencing this dream, this great dance, and you can choose in any moment to create. So by being aware of what you are, you will move through the world differently. Anyway, my brothers, my sisters, I leave you with the love and the light of the one creator. Give thanks to the one true source. Blessings to you all. And I'll see you on the other side very soon.